State regime media known as Fox was unraveling on live TV last night following Donald Trump's Department of Justice meeting with sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell and giving her use immunity to avoid further prosecution regarding her sex trafficking, depending on what she told the Department of Justice to further Donald Trump's cover-up. So what were they doing on state regime media, as it is so obvious that Donald Trump is utterly panicked and trying to cover up his Epstein connections and the Epstein files, where Donald Trump's name appears apparently numerous times, according to the Wall Street Journal? Well, Fox rolls out its chief propagandist, Sean Hannity, and he goes, one thing is crystal clear about this all. Obama was a terrible president. He abused his power. And what Obama did with Russia in 2016, Fox wants you to know, it makes Watergate look like a jaywalking violation. This is what you need to focus on, MAGA mush. Not Donald Trump giving immunity to a sex trafficker to cover up for a pedophile ring. Just watch for yourself. Here, play this clip.
One thing is crystal clear. Barack Obama was a terrible president, and he abused his power. He fomented a culture of pious corruption inside the halls of our federal bureaucracy. To this day, I can all but assure you that the former deep state actors who carried out this plot to delegitimize a duly elected president, Donald Trump, still believe they did nothing wrong. They didn't care at all about the will of all of you, the American people. They believed their opinions mattered much more, and this information clearly is suggesting that they were willing to lie, manipulate, undermine a duly elected president. To them, using the almighty power of the U.S. government to subvert the will of the American people is what, justified?
And then Hannity brings on his guest, MAGA Republican Senator Tom Cotton. What's he going to do? He's just going to say a bunch of MAGA mush code words. Collusion, collusion, collusion. Obama, Biden, Clinton, Brennan, Comey, Russia, 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 Russia. And there's a lot of collusion. And this is what you should all be focused on. This is what they're doing on Fox. Here, watch this clip.
You know, for years, the Democrats screamed collusion falsely about Donald Trump and Russia. And as you say, there was collusion. Collusion between Obama and Biden and Clinton, Brennan, Comey, Clapper, to brush under the rug the judgments of these career intelligence officials that there's no evidence of collusion whatsoever. And then to put it out through surreptitious means to the American people as a way to undermine the legitimacy of Donald Trump's historic victory in 2016.
Then they bring on this guy, Solomon, and he's like, what we really need to dig deeper in is, what was Special Counsel Jack Smith doing when the FBI executed a search warrant on Mar-a-Lago and they found, well, he doesn't say this, where they found that Donald Trump was hiding nuclear secrets at his home and should have been prosecuted for that, but for our idiotic and crooked Supreme Court. But Solomon's implication is that what Jack Smith was really looking for was things related to Obama, Brennan, Comey, collusion, Russia. Don't think about Epstein, anybody. We're going to distract you with these words. Here, play this clip.
I think the second piece that we're also going to watch for, what was Jack Smith looking for when he went and raided Donald Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago in 2022? What was that raid looking for? And does it have a connection all the way back to this period of 16 when we're submitting dirty dossiers to the intelligence community, hijacking intelligence products, and lying to FISA courts and the American public? I think those are two big developments that I think we're going to learn more about in the next couple of weeks.
Nobody's getting distracted. We know what you are doing, and it's making it 100 times worse. What is in those Epstein files about Donald Trump, and we know he was briefed about that his name was in it in May, and he put like 1,000 FBI agents and DOJ agents to look through it. It must be some of the most horrific things imaginable. So then you have Laura Ingraham, then she's got her other Fox guests, and one of the things they're implying here is that the real story, you guessed it, was Obama and Russia, and that Democrats brought up Epstein after the big Obama situation to try to stop the Obama situation from getting traction. What are you even talking about? Y'all came up with this ridiculous 2016 Obama, Russia, whatever. I don't even know what you're freaking talking about, because Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who chaired the Intelligence Committee, said Russia tried to interfere with the election. We know that's a fact. Donald Trump said, Russia, if you're listening, hack the emails of my opponent. And then they did it. To this day, Donald Trump is obsequious to Putin. Putin is out there showing nudes of Melania on TV, and Donald Trump doesn't do anything about it. Putin's like, I spoke with Donald and we talked about cultural exchanges between the United States and Russia. Donald Trump said back in April that he would do secondary sanctions against Putin in 2 weeks and then lied about it. 2 weeks. We saw how Donald Trump treated Zelensky in the Oval Office. What else do we need to see? The Trump regime recently withheld Patriot missiles from Ukraine and then claimed they gave it to Ukraine. And as far as we know, they haven't sold the weapons to Russia yet sold the weapons to Germany to protect Ukraine from Russia. Anyway, here's what the guests on Laura Ingraham have to say. Here, play this clip.
It really is quite something for the Democrats to now try to resurrect Epstein when we find out that the core of their identity for 10 years has been that Trump is illegitimate as a politician and a president because of the Russia story, the core of their identity. It's all exposed.
You ever look back at your first paycheck and think, how did I survive on that? Mine was from a high school job delivering pizzas. I think it was like $120 or something. And let me tell you, if I had Cash App back then and could have gotten paid 2 days early, it would have been a game changer. If you weren't up to speed already, Cash App is way more than just a safe way to send and receive money. With the Cash App card, you unlock a ton of perks without all the fees. Enjoy benefits like early access to nationwide concert pre-sales, Kendrick Lamar and Sabrina Carpenter to name a couple recent examples, plus discounts on everyday purchases and popular brands you're probably already spending money on. Cash App also adds security to your money by declining suspicious card transactions and sending you a notification to make sure the payment is really you. If your card is ever lost or stolen, you can lock it with just one tap right in the app. Spend with confidence with the Cash App card today. For a limited time, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real. Just download Cash App, use our exclusive referral code Meidas in your profile, that's MEIDAS. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sudden Bank, member FDIC. Direct deposit, roundups, overdraft coverage, and discounts provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures.
And then Maria Bartiromo blames Russiagate, she says, for the fact that celebrities won't sing at Trump's big events. It's a big problem. The celebrities don't like Donald Trump because of Russia and the Russia hoax. The hell are you talking about? Here, play this clip.
You cannot underestimate what it did to a sitting president. The perception that it created around Donald Trump, that perception made a lot of things happen. People were not going and taking jobs in his first administration. He wasn't able to get talented and the right people in the right jobs. You remember all those celebrities wouldn't sing at his, at big events, at the inauguration, Hollywood. I mean, it was ridiculous. Meanwhile, this is what we saw on the mainstream media all day long. Watch this.
Certainly say with confidence that there is significant evidence of collusion between the campaign and Russia.
And then you get from dangerous just to outright dumb. They bring on this guy Thiessen, who is Donald Trump's former speechwriter, and they show a clip of Donald Trump landing in Scotland, saying that wind energy doesn't work and Europe needs to abandon windmills. And then the Fox host asks the guest, Thiessen, so should we stop with the windmills? Is it true what Donald Trump's saying that if it isn't sunny one day or if it isn't windy, then all of a sudden you lose solar and wind power? And then the guy's like, well, I think that's absolutely right. That's the big problem with solar and wind power. Do you know how energy storage works? These are quite possibly the dumbest people and the most dangerous people. Here, play this clip.
Ruining your oceans, stop the windmills. Is he right?
He's 100% right. Look, just so people understand, wind and solar only work when there's wind and sun. We don't have technology to store the energy from wind and solar. So if you make yourself reliant on wind and solar, then if there's no sun and no wind, you get no energy. It's insane to be making your countries dependent on this. At first they went from being dependent on Russia for natural gas. Now they're depending on wind and solar. Maybe they ought to do what he's doing and start, producing nuclear energy and drill, baby, drill. That would be smart.
I just think we're all coming around that way, and hopefully the West will follow. They have no choice.
And then Kellyanne Conway on the show The Five, Miss Alternative Facts. She goes, so you're telling me you think the Epstein files is bigger than Obama from 2016? Here, play this clip.
I'm sure you wouldn't say that Andy McCarthy is some liberal media goon who wants to cover for them, saying this has always been a foolish scam.
You think excuse me, you think the Epstein files is more relevant than this?
No,
you think the Epstein files is more relevant than what OJ?
I think that it is not going well right now for President Trump, and they are trying to figure.
Coming up great. He just had Columbia admit to being anti-Semitic and fork over $250 million.
Well, let's see how it pans out with Harvard and someone who actually has a spine to stand up to what he's trying to do to academic freedom in this country.
Okay, they can still hate white people at Harvard. That's not going away, Jessica.
So it's okay what they did to the Jews on campus?
I have literally never said that. And
you just said to somebody to stand up on the campus. You're assuming that Columbia backed down because of the money they paid to these Jewish students.
Columbia 100% capitulated to Donald Trump, and they will regret it.
I mean, honestly, is there anybody buying that? I mean, obviously, you watching this aren't, but like, is there a MAGA mush base that goes, Obama, Comey, Hillary Clinton, okay. I mean, is it like like Pavlov's dog response? Like they ring the bell, or it was like, what was the movie? Oh, with Blue Steel and the Pose with Ben Stiller. What's the Zoolander where they play the thing and he's like, kill the Prime Minister of Malaysia, kill the, I mean, does this stuff, when you say these words, does it trigger MAGA mush when they're like, okay, Donald? It's so wild to me. And then you have Jessica Tarlov, the lone pro-democracy voice on Fox. She's like, all right, in a new Fox poll, Donald Trump's approval rating on inflation is 36% right now. And then Greg Gutfeld is like, compared to what? And then Jessica Tarlov's like, what do you mean compared to? That's not the way polls work. He's like, those polls aren't real. And she's like, I'm quoting for you Fox polls, Gallup polls, multiple polls that say this. Here, play this clip.
Shannon already referenced today the new Fox News poll. I would also like to dive in there and look at the approval rating for Donald Trump on inflation. 36%.
Compared to what?
What?
Compared to what?
36%. It doesn't have to be.
No context.
Greg, that's not how polling works.
Oh, please explain to me how efficient and brilliant your polling is. You did a great job in 2024.
It's not my polling. Actually, the polling in 2024
God, you guys are wrong all the time. And by the way, all your polling is your own narratives.
What?
That's all polling is. You're polling your own narratives.
No, we're not.
You build up a fake story and then you go,
how is this? Hey, how do you think the president is handling? According to you, who is a very wealthy person that's not paying attention to this.
This conversation, I mean, that's a compliment. He's so wealthy. He loves you when you say that.
What neighborhood do you live in?
And then finally, earlier in the day, Fox talked about the meeting between Donald Trump's DOJ and Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer, and they almost reported like it's like normal, and there was a breakthrough. She may be getting a pardon. So you gave her immunity, and now you may be giving her a pardon. Here, play the clip.
What else did Maxwell's attorney say?
Well, he said a lot. We wish we could be in and hear what was said in the actual meeting. This meeting was a lot shorter than it was yesterday, but this was a two-day event. The highlight, though, it appears that her team wants a pardon. Watch.
We're going to take one day at a time. I know that's very cliche, but it's true because things are happening so quickly. We haven't spoken to the president or anybody about a pardon just yet. And listen, the president this morning said he had the power to do so. We hope he exercises that power in the right and just way.
Oh my gosh, what are we even watching here, folks? Anyway, hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers.
Love this video? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch and help us blow past 1 million followers.